Hello, this is Dread, and in today's video topic, we are going to be going over the Rune Master. Yes, the Rune Master, the mastery that is being released on September 7th with the new last Epoch patch, Runes of Power. So essentially, the Rune Master, he is going to have access to a skill called Runic Mastery, and this is going to allow you to do just a bunch of random shenaniganry depending on the types of skills that you cast in the order that you cast them. Essentially, it will reward you for a higher skilled playstyle. So we're going to be talking about that build. Now, first things I want to talk about is, guess what? I'm getting married. That's actually what I'm going to be doing when this video uploads is, of course, going on my honeymoon. So I'll be gone, but of course, I scheduled this in the future. So we're going to be talking about just Rune Master here real quick. All right, here we are in Discord here. Thankfully, I didn't have to go all the way to Gamescom just to be able to see what the Rune Master is like. They were nice enough to post all of the pictures from Rune Master in the Discord so we could actually talk about everything that's coming. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the new skill called Flame Rush. Essentially, this is like Flame Dash from Path of Exile, but there's a bigger twist to it. The longer you hold it, it's kind of like a channeled spell, right? It will deal more damage. So you can like just stand there and hold it and deal a bunch of damage with it, which means there will be flame rush builds. That will be a thing, like just dealing damage with it. Also, as well, it just like dashed you in the line. You can actually see it in the trailer. What's really cool about Flame Rush is the fact of the last line. You take 40% less damage during Flame Rush. This is really strong. Having less damage taken on your movement skill means that technically, in theory, if you do like an Oribus, like one shot, or like Kirot hits you with something like that, right? You can just snap cast Flame Rush and just take less damage from the attack. So this actually has way more utility than it seems on paper, which might just make it better than Teleport, which is cool. The next skill is Frost Wall here. This will create a wall of frost at the enemy, and it'll make them take cold damage over time, and of course, give them stacks of chill. Now, my problem with this skill in general is freeze right now is not really a good mechanic in last epoch currently, but maybe this will redeem it and make it better. It seems like there's a guaranteed freeze on it, so that's very interesting. We'll have to see how that feels, right? How that goes. But in theory, in the slower gameplay of last epoch, Frostwall might actually end up being a good skill. That is to be seen, although it'll probably have a lot of good utility on it. Hopefully, we can actually scale the damage over time on it, which would be absolutely wonderful. The next skill here we're going to be talking about is Rune Bolt. This is just going to be giving you a bunch of piercing projectiles, right? That gives you a bunch of fire, lightning, and cold. The main reason that I really like this is the first line. A combo spell that fires piercing projectiles. Pierce in general in last epoch is a very hard stat to come by. You have to literally go arm and leg just to be able to have pierce or any kind of clear on your setup. So having a skill that has it inbuilt and with the small mana cost means that you could literally play a build that is focused on just spamming Rune Bolt, and that could be a legitimate idea. Now, this is going to be at the top half of Rune Master, so you're going to be forced to play a Rune Master, but that's completely fine, as we'll talk about later. The next skill, Glyph of Dominion. Essentially, this is like putting down a mine or a trap on the ground, and after at full size, it will detonate, doing a lot of lightning damage, just like a glyph. And overall, we've been waiting for a skill like this. I really like the idea of it. It's going to be probably really good because one thing, it's lightning damage, right? And two, it's probably gonna have really high damage effectiveness in general. So and you can also either focus on the deals lightning damage over time or the lightning damage crit. So you can actually focus on either one of those, which is really nice. This one has really high potential. Now, the next stuff we're going to be talking about is all the passives here. Now, I want to talk about Rune Master in general. I've looked through it all. It is essentially just a better sorcerer in every single way possible. And my problem with that is that means that if you think about it, what's the point of having Sorcerer in the game? Same thing with Spellblade. Spellblade and Sorcerer are going to be pushed back significantly in terms of power level in comparison to Runemaster, because it looks broken as hell, because why not, right? Of course, we're going to make the new mastery broken. So I'm a little distasteful about that specifically. I'm sure our friend over here, Mr. Hagrid, could agree that having one mastery trump the other masteries would be a very bad idea. So the first things off, we just deal more damage if you have current ward more than target has remaining health. That will never almost happen in any situation where it actually matters, because enemies have lots and lots of HP, specifically in the higher difficulties. So this is bait, absolute bait, unless you're playing like there's no reason to do this. This one's really strong, giving us a lot of extra regen, specifically the mana regen. Just getting as much mana regen as humanly possible is really strong on a build like Sorcerer, or of course Rune Master, which is the new Sorcerer at this point, right? It's just a better Sorcerer, so like just having that mana regen is gonna be great. The health regen is really cool, as you'll see later on, but it has really good synergy with stuff like Vessel of Strife as well, which we'll talk about. This giving us a lot of extra crit for free, which is great. You also have the Runeword system. Now, the Runeword system is mainly in combination with the new mastery skill that Rune Master is getting, this runic invocation. Essentially, it's going to be your build your own spell, and these rune words are going to be what essentially enable it, right? So it's going to be a lot of stuff like that. I'm not going to go too in depth with it, because that would require me to actually play the class to understand the rune words in general. But this one is going to give you more damage against enemies with low health. That's not really worth it, to be honest. Maybe Rune Word Cataclysm is a really good rune, though. It's very easy to proc because you just have to crit strike, so that's fine. The next one here, we just get a lot of free mana. This is really strong for for that one spell early on. Where is it? Rune Bolt, because you're going to be able to get this to 0 mana very quickly, and you can abuse that with, of course, this node to get a lot of free mana as well, which is cool. And we're going to want as much cast speed as humanly possible too, right? And we're going to get a lot of ward just by spamming that spell. Next one here, ward on direct spellcast. This is going to be absolutely insane with a cast speed focus setup when you're trying to run probably some kind of Rune Bolt build as well. Just getting all this ward in general is great, gives us a lot more chunk than normal. This actually might just be better than the Sorcerer one, because you don't have to invest into it. All you have to do is invest into cast speed. So this might actually end up being better than the Sorcerer node. So I actually is interesting that this is better than the Sorcerer node. So we literally are making better Sorcerer here, I guess, guys. Transcendence here, it's just going to give us a bunch of ward over time, and it'll triple when we have 60 intelligence, which if we're playing like a Vessel of Strife setup, which will be very easy to achieve. So that's cool. Edict of Scion, getting area of effect 24%. That might actually be enough to make a difference with certain skills. Currently in last Epoch, you can invest into AoE, but it's really hard to see the effects of it. But this combined with all the extra AoE on your gear might be enough to make things actually go with a big boom, right? And you also gain ward per active rune from runic invocation as well whenever you use whenever you use this area skill, which is kind of cool. It's a lot of extra ward. This is definitely going to be very strong. Now, Mental Catalyst here, we get a lot of extra free intelligence, I guess, and just bonus damage from crits. This one isn't really good. You're never using a Catalyst unless you need it for crit, because Catalysts are absolute garbage, because you want to be running a shield or a two-hander. Next thing here, Inscribed Instruments give you crit multi with the wand, which is really strong. Word retention with the scepter, which is absolutely positively broken. So that's going to be fun, because getting a lot of word retention is really good for the kind of setup that Rune Master wants. I'm going to assume there's probably going to be some kind of nerf to the relic, I can't remember. Jurla's Obsession, I believe. I think that no, that's the gloves. I can't remember. It's been forever since I played last Epoch, so it's been a while. Now, of course, we also get cast speed with a staff, so that has implications. But I really think that the word retention with a scepter is the overtuned one here. So we're happy with that node. I like these nodes that encourage you to use different kinds of weapons. It makes them a lot more interesting, like cast speed stacking with a staff, get really chonky with the scepter, or you get a lot of extra crit multi with a wand. That's cool. This one, this one's really hard to tell. Like, we'll have to see. But like, it's not really that much ward. It's like 160 every 2 seconds, but it can be doubled. So it's like 320. So it's like 160 ward per second. So I guess that's kind of fine as long as you're getting a Heo rune or Glyph of Dominion, whatever. Yeah, the Glyph of Dominion from up there, I guess. So this one should be fine. Then Runic Fortress here. This one is the absolute busted one. After channeling for 2 seconds, you gain a burst award equal to a portion of your armor. If you don't know, if you run, of course, focus right now, you can get armor based on your intelligence flat, and you can scale this to the moon. And let's say you have like maybe like 10,000 armor, right? That's 2,500 ward just from there, just from using your focus, right? And you also get armor while channeling per rune as well, up to 6 times. That'd be like 150-ish. Yeah, like 150 per rune, which can probably scale really hard. You can combine this with the armor while channeling at the with spirits of fire. So this node's really going to be strong. And especially with skills like, where is it? Flame Rush too. If you use this as a defensive skill, the 40% less damage, that in combination with the armor channeling and all that, you're going to be a very chonky boy when you want to be able to, which is going to be fun. Where's the next one? This one, here it is. Health regen also applies to ward. This is just Vessel of Strife. There you go. There's the name of it. This is just Vessel of Strife, but you got to do it early on, which is really cool as it enables the health regen to ward playstyle early on without needing a Vessel of Strife, and then eventually you can upgrade into a Vessel of Strife. So that's cool. That's really nice. I like that. Like, this is a really good node. I like that. It's definitely going to make it really chonky as a Rune Master. We have Runeword Hurricane here. This is just going to give you a lot of flat spell damage. Let's be real though. People are going to use it for the freeze rate multi, so that you just get the extra frostbite effect. I think this is kind of bad. I think overall it really isn't that much damage because it doesn't stack, and like, yeah, this is that scaled points allocated, 20% chance per use. You can get to 100% chance. So like, I don't know how this one feels. Maybe there's a reason to use Runeword Hurricane, but this one's pretty meh. This one here, Runeword buff duration, that one's cool. You also can make it so party members gain Runeword buffs. That's actually really cool because that can actually make, Rune Master a support class as well. This is literally a 1-point node to make Rune Master into a support class. So it's like, okay. So not only is it better than Sorcerer and Spellblade combined, probably, it also can be a support class, I guess. I'm not very happy with the amount of power creep that we're seeing here, because this means that like Spellblade and the other class are left in the dust. Same thing with let's look at Avalanche here. We get, this one's a little weird. I don't know how this one works. It says you gain additional endurance threshold per stack of ignite on the attacker. So maybe when they hit you, as long as they have ignites on them, they apply your HP as endurance threshold. This one's really awkward. I have no fucking idea how it'll actually work. Like, in theory, it could be really strong. Like, I don't know. And this one's pretty stupid. Armor per Strock with Runeword. You get a lot of percent armor. Oh boy, this one's really strong. It's weird though, because it says on the attacker. So like, again, I have no clue how that works. Thanks, EHG, for making that make sense. Then we got this 7% more damage. That's the same one, actually. Where is it? I think we got all of them. Oh, no, we didn't, actually. Rune Cataclysm, Never Late. This one just gives you a little bit of base crit for the next skill after using a traversal skill, which is really strong. I believe that's base crit. Otherwise, it's garbage. If it is base crit, that is insanely strong, which is really cool because you can just do a big hit kind of combo build, which is really nice. Get the crit chance double too. I think this is percent maybe then. That would make sense then. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. Probably percent crit. It's hard to tell these days. Nimbus Walk here, we get a bunch of ward on traversal skill, which is kind of cool, right? I like that. So that's cool. And also bonuses to Never Late will also apply to traversal skills for some reason. I don't know why. It's weird. Rune Dilation here. After using we get just a bunch of cast speed and movement speed. That's cool. I don't like these non-stacking buffs because they kind of are very, like, I don't know, boring per se. But movement speed and cast speed, you can't really complain about it. Then you get more damage per on rares and bosses. It's just 8% more damage. Sure, why not, I guess. And then this effect is double if you have an active raw rune or pass through a frost wall. So you like walk through a frost wall and you get 16% more damage. Sure, I guess. Cool. All right. I don't know what a raw rune is, to be honest. And then Brand of Deception, we get a bunch of damage over time penetration. This is a garbage stat because with the rework, this is a very easy amount to get. Like, it's kind of like whatever. Brand of Deception does give you like a bunch of lightning damage over time, and you could technically maybe like scale it, but it's like Doom where it's probably doesn't have its base numbers high enough to be even worth your time. But the next thing here, we get more damage against branded enemies, I guess. So whatever, more damage against branded enemies, and you also get more brand damage based on your percent shock chance, which is cool. This is heavily scalable. So if branded deception actually has good damage, then we're good to go, right? Then the last one here, Celestial Doom, we deal more damage to branded bosses, so even more damage. We're just gonna have a lot of more damage. We're just having more damage here, there, everywhere. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about Rune Master, to be honest. I feel like as though they're pushing the envelope to extremes here to kind of like cater towards the casual player base. I don't think that they need to do this. Now, my problem, like I said, is they're going to need to completely revamp Sorcerer and Spellblade to even keep up. Like look at this. Even the passive bonus is 10% cast speed and 30% increased damage. That's better than Sorcerer's entire fucking mastery bonus. So like overall, I'm very mixed on Rune Master. I think it's cool and all. It's a cool idea, but they kind of pushing the envelope to the point where like it becomes unfun in a way, if that makes sense. Like I said, Hagrid here probably agrees with me. But yeah, with all that being said, this has been Dread. Off to go do something else.